Picture yourself as a spy in the Cold War. You're facing off against the KGB, relying on ingenious gadgets to stay ahead of the game. What would be in your spy toolkit?
A hidden camera. Maybe a poison dart concealed in a pen.
That's exactly the kind of world we're diving into today on The Deep Dive. We're exploring the captivating world of CIA spycraft, uncovering the history behind the tools and techniques that defined espionage.
And this isn't just for armchair spies either.
This deep dive is perfect for mindful moments. Nourish your mind on the go. You can learn about this world of spies and tech while you're on a walk, at the gym, or just relaxing. And if listening is more your style...
Mindful Moments has an awesome AI narration feature.
Exactly. It provides a seamless listening experience no matter where you are.
So get ready to be blown away by the creativity and ingenuity of these unsung heroes of intelligence.
Our exploration today is based on Spycraft, a book written by Robert Wallace.
He was the former director of the CIA's Office of Technical Service, by the way.
A real insider's perspective.
Definitely. Spycraft is packed with first-hand accounts and insights into how spy gadgets were developed and used, not just during the Cold War, but beyond.
So we're not just talking James Bond fantasies here. This is about understanding the real world of intelligence gathering, how technology played a vital role in shaping history, and maybe even getting a glimpse into the minds of those who lived and worked in the shadows.
And you might be surprised to learn that it all started a little rough around the edges.
You're talking about the early days of Spycraft back in World War II with the Office of Strategic Services, right? The OSS.
Exactly. They were experimenting with rudimentary gadgets, think bat bombs and explosives delivered by, get this, rats.
Rats?
Yeah, it sounds almost comical now, but these early attempts show how determined they were to combine technology and espionage.
It was definitely creative, maybe a bit eccentric. But then things took a serious turn with the Oleg Penkovsky case.
Penkovsky was a Soviet officer who supplied crucial information to the West during the Cold War. The operation relied heavily on traditional methods like dead drops and brush passes.
Risky business.
Absolutely. And it exposed a critical weakness for the CIA.
They weren't equipped to operate in heavily surveilled environments like the Soviet Union.
The Penkovsky case was a wake-up call. It highlighted the limitations of traditional methods. The need for more sophisticated tools became glaringly obvious. That's where the Technical Services Staff, or TSS, came in. They were later renamed the Office of Technical Services, or OTS.
The unsung heroes of Spycraft? The OTS engineers and technicians? We always imagine spies as being suave and daring, but these individuals were the masterminds behind the scenes.
It's true. These were the people pushing the boundaries of what was possible, constantly innovating to create gadgets that would give spies an edge in the field.
They were tackling some seemingly impossible challenges, especially when it came to shrinking things down.
Miniaturization was crucial.
Like creating a camera so small it could fit inside a matchbox? The Camera X.
Amazing, isn't it? And then there was the T100, a camera small enough to be concealed in a fountain pen. The ingenuity involved is mind-boggling.
It really is. But these advancements weren't limited to cameras.
Not at all. The invention of the transistor revolutionized audio surveillance, enabling the creation of smaller and much more reliable bugs.
Bugs as in listening devices.
Exactly. The SRT family of transmitters, which culminated in the Sentry series, were a fraction of the size of their predecessors, but way more powerful and reliable.
Imagine what those advancements meant for intelligence gathering. They could plant these tiny devices in places that were previously impossible to reach.
It was a game changer. These innovations enabled operations like the one involving Adolf Tolkachev.
Tolkachev was a high-level Soviet source who provided the West with vital information for years, totally undetected. He used advanced short-range communication devices like the discus system.
The discus system is fascinating. It used burst transmissions and had automatic decryption, enabling secure and efficient communication even in a hostile environment like the Soviet Union.
The information he provided had a huge impact on the West's understanding of Soviet capabilities and intentions at a critical time. Then there was Operation CK-TAW. This was a super risky mission where the CIA actually tapped into Soviet communication cables right in Moscow.
Right under their noses.
Can you imagine the planning and the nerves of steel it must have taken to pull that off?
Yeah.
It required incredible disguise techniques, specialized equipment. Talk about audacity.
Operation CK-TAW truly embodies the fusion of technical skill and operational daring. They had to plan meticulously, adapt to unpredictable situations, and use highly specialized equipment to succeed in such a high-risk environment. Tapping into Soviet communications right in their backyard is the kind of stuff you'd expect to see in a movie, but it actually happened.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden beneath the surface of history. But espionage wasn't just about gadgets and daring missions.
There was a whole other layer to it.
Deception. Spycraft also sheds light on the CIA's expertise in deception and disguise, especially their mastery of document forgery. They could create and detect sophisticated fakes that were almost impossible to distinguish from the real deal.
It was an art form, really, and it was a powerful tool for shaping perceptions and even influencing geopolitical events.
There was that incredible story about the fake documents planted to discredit an African leader. They even created a whole fake organization from scratch letterheads, official-looking stamps, the whole 9 yards.
The level of detail was astounding. They understood that disinformation, if skillfully crafted and disseminated, could be incredibly powerful. It could sway opinions, fuel conflicts, and even alter the course of history.
They even replicated the tiny flaws and inconsistencies you find in real documents, making the forgeries even more convincing.
It's scary how good they were at it.
Absolutely. But let's talk about concealment devices, or CDs as they were called. The OTS was amazing at transforming everyday objects into secret storage compartments.
CDs were everywhere. Think hollowed-out coins, fake tree branches, even a working lamp that was also a hidden camera.
They turned ordinary objects into tools of espionage, taking advantage of the fact that people tend to overlook the obvious. The book even describes a CD that required a specific sequence of twists and turns to open it, almost like a secret code. If you didn't know the code, you'd never find the hidden compartment.
It's like an analog version of a password, but with much higher stakes. These mechanical codes were a physical barrier, ensuring that only the right people could access the concealed items.
It's amazing how much thought went into creating these devices. They had to be secure, reliable, and blend seamlessly with the agent's cover story. Imagine the skill it took to build a working camera inside a cigarette lighter.
These concealment devices were often an agent's last line of defense. If an agent was discovered, these devices could mean the difference between freedom and capture.
You can really sense the weight of that responsibility in their meticulous designs. It makes you appreciate the unsung heroes behind the scenes, the engineers, technicians, and craftspeople who made these extraordinary feats of espionage possible.
They were the ones who took imagination and turned it into reality. They pushed the boundaries of technology and innovation in service of their country, working tirelessly in secrecy.
Now let's shift gears a bit and delve into a topic that raises some ethical considerations. Spycraft touches on the MKultra program.
Ah, yes.
This was a program involving research into mind control and behavioral modification.
A controversial chapter in CIA history.
To say the least.
It was shrouded in secrecy, fueled by Cold War paranoia about Soviet mind control techniques.
Right, the CIA wanted to figure out if they could manipulate human behavior using drugs, hypnosis, and other methods.
It ultimately raises serious concerns about the potential for abuse of power and the ethics of these kinds of experiments.
Especially when you consider that they experimented with LSD and other substances on unwitting subjects. It's hard to grasp the ethical implications of those actions and the potential for lasting harm they caused. It makes you think about how easily powerful technologies can be misused if they fall into the wrong hands.
The MKultra program, though officially ended in the early 1970s, is still a subject of debate today. It serves as a stark reminder of the importance of oversight, accountability, and ethical considerations in intelligence operations, especially when dealing with technologies that could be so easily misused.
It's a complex issue, no doubt. It makes you think about the balance between national security and individual rights. But before we dive deeper into those questions, let's explore some other fascinating examples of CIA spycraft in action.
I'm ready for more. The ingenuity and audacity of these operations never cease to amaze me. What else did you uncover in Spycraft?
Let's talk about a remarkable story of courage and conviction.
The story of Adolf Tolkachev.
Right, a Soviet engineer who, despite knowing the risks, decided to help the West.
Tolkachev was a top weapons designer who had grown disillusioned with the Soviet system.
So he became a valuable asset for the CIA.
For nearly a decade, from 1977 to 1985, Tolkachev provided a wealth of information on Soviet radar systems, fighter aircraft, and missile technology.
Wow, a whole decade. He must have known the consequences would be severe if he was caught.
He did. It's a real testament to the power of his convictions and the trust he placed in the CIA.
And the CIA had to pull out all the stops to protect him.
Absolutely. They used a combination of dead drops, disguised communication methods, even signals from the U.S. Embassy to coordinate meetings and exchange information.
It was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse.
Trying to stay one step ahead of the KGB the whole time.
This is where those miniature cameras we discussed earlier came into play, right?
Exactly. Tolpachev used them to photograph sensitive documents right under the noses of Soviet security.
It's hard to imagine the nerves it must have taken to do that.
It was incredibly risky, but the quality of intelligence he provided was exceptional.
It gave Western analysts a glimpse into Soviet military capabilities they'd never had before.
It allowed them to assess Soviet advancements, identify vulnerabilities, and make informed decisions about their strategic posture.
Tolkachev's contributions had a tangible impact on the balance of power during those tense years of the Cold War.
It's a shame his story ended so tragically.
Yeah, in 1985, he was betrayed, possibly by a double agent within the CIA.
He was arrested and later executed.
It's a sobering reminder of the incredible risks these individuals and their handlers faced.
It really underscores the human cost of espionage. Despite meticulous planning and precautions, unforeseen circumstances can lead to devastating consequences.
It's important to remember the dedication and sacrifice of people like Tolkachev.
Their stories are often hidden from public view, but they played a crucial role in shaping the course of history.
Speaking of hidden stories, let's move on to an operation that sounds like something out of a spy thriller.
Operation CK-TA.
Yeah, that's the one. Back in the 1970s, the CIA, working with British intelligence, actually managed to tap into underground Soviet communication cables right in the heart of Moscow.
A truly audacious operation. It was a feat of engineering and immense courage. They had to dig a tunnel into a heavily guarded area, install sophisticated listening devices, and extract the data without being detected.
It sounds almost impossible.
It was incredibly complex and risky, but they pulled it off.
I can't even imagine the level of planning and precision required.
They had to navigate Moscow's surveillance network, deal with unpredictable weather conditions, and make sure the equipment worked flawlessly under extreme pressure.
It really boggles the mind.
They even developed a special drill called the silent hammer.
What was that?
It could penetrate concrete without making any noise.
Right.
A real testament to their ability to innovate and find solutions to what seemed like insurmountable obstacles.
And the payoff was huge. They gained access to unfiltered Soviet military communications in real time.
A goldmine of intelligence.
It must have revolutionized the West's understanding of Soviet military capabilities, their intentions, and their decision-making processes.
Absolutely. The insights gained from Operation CK-TA were crucial in shaping Western foreign policy and military strategy during a critical period of the Cold War.
It's amazing what they achieved. Now, let's step back from the gadgets and the missions for a moment and focus on the art of deception. Spycraft goes into quite a bit of detail about the CIA's mastery of deception techniques, especially their expertise in document forgery and disinformation campaigns.
They were masters at creating fake documents that were practically indistinguishable from the real thing.
Remember that story we talked about earlier, the one about the fake documents planted to discredit an African leader?
They went all out, fabricated an entire organization, complete with letterheads, official-looking stamps.
The attention to detail was astounding. It's a real testament to their understanding of the power of disinformation. Even a small piece of fabricated information, strategically placed and spread effectively, can have a massive impact.
Absolutely. They could sway opinions, fuel conflicts, even alter the course of history.
And they went to incredible lengths to make these forgeries convincing.
They even replicated those tiny flaws and inconsistencies you find in genuine documents.
It took a trained eye to tell the difference.
They had skilled technicians and artists who meticulously studied printing techniques, paper types, handwriting styles.
They were like artists, but their canvas was deception.
It was all about finding that delicate balance between replicating authenticity while subtly introducing false information.
Incredible. Now let's circle back to those ingenious concealment devices, the CDs. The OTS had a real knack for transforming everyday objects into secret storage compartments, hiding them in plain sight.
They were everywhere. Hollowed-out coins, fake tree branches, even a working lamp that doubled as a hidden camera.
They understood that sometimes the best hiding place is right out in the open. People tend to overlook the mundane, and they use that to their advantage.
It's true. Turning ordinary objects into tools of espionage is a brilliant strategy.
The book even describes one CD that you had to open with a specific sequence of twists and turns, just like a secret code. If you didn't know the code, you'd never find the hidden compartment.
It's a fascinating example of how they blended security with practicality.
But those mechanical codes were like an extra layer of protection, making sure only the right people could get to the concealed items.
They were designed to prevent accidental discovery or compromise, ensuring that sensitive information remained protected.
It's remarkable how much thought and effort went into creating these devices.
They had to be secure, reliable, and blend seamlessly into the agent's surroundings.
Imagine the skill it took to build a working camera inside a cigarette lighter. It's mind-blowing.
The OTS knew that these devices could be an agent's lifeline.
The difference between freedom and capture.
They approached each design with the utmost care and precision, knowing lives could depend on their effectiveness.
It makes you appreciate the dedication and skill of these individuals,
The unsung heroes of espionage.
working tirelessly behind the scenes to develop the tools and techniques that shaped the course of history.
It's a reminder that innovation often happens in the shadows, driven by a sense of duty and commitment to a greater cause.
They may not have received public recognition, but their contributions were significant nonetheless.
Their work helped shape the world we live in today.
But Spycraft doesn't just focus on the hardware and the daring missions, does it?
Not at all.
There's a whole other dimension to espionage, the psychological aspect.
It often determines the success or failure of a mission. The human factor is crucial.
And Spycraft actually delves into that, right?
It does. The book highlights the role of OTS psychologists.
They had psychologists on staff.
They did. These psychologists were tasked with assessing potential agents and understanding their motivations, their vulnerabilities.
It makes sense when you think about it.
You can't just recruit anyone for these kinds of operations.
Exactly. You need people who are reliable, resilient, and won't crack under pressure.
It's a high-stakes game, and the wrong recruit could have disastrous consequences.
Talk about a high-pressure job. Imagine trying to figure out if someone is genuinely willing to cooperate or if they might be a double agent.
It was a constant balancing act, reading people, understanding their motivations, and assessing their psychological resilience.
They had to figure out who to trust, who to recruit, and how to manage those assets effectively.
It was a critical part of the process.
And get this, they even used handwriting analysis or graphology as an assessment tool.
You're kidding.
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a Sherlock Holmes story.
It does. Graphology, while considered a pseudoscience by some, was another tool in the CIA's personality assessment toolkit. They believed that handwriting could offer subtle clues about an individual's character, their emotional state, and even their potential for deception.
Wow, they really were exploring every possible avenue. This deep dive into the world of Spycraft has been incredible. It's made me realize just how complex and challenging this world really is.
It's far more intricate than what we see in movies.
Absolutely. These individuals were constantly innovating, adapting, and pushing the boundaries of what was possible.
They faced incredible challenges, but they always found a way to overcome them.
Whether they were miniaturizing cameras, developing silent drills, or creating those incredibly realistic forgeries, their resourcefulness is inspiring.
It really is.
And they did it all in secrecy, often without any recognition or reward.
They were the unsung heroes working behind the scenes to protect their country.
Their stories are a testament to their dedication and sacrifice.
A reminder that history is shaped not just by grand events and famous figures, but also by those who operate in the shadows, quietly influencing the course of events.
The world of Spycraft is truly a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. It makes you wonder, though, what does the future hold for Spycraft?
That's a great question.
We live in an age of cyber warfare and artificial intelligence.
It's a different world than the one these Cold War spies operated in.
Will traditional espionage methods become obsolete?
Or will human ingenuity always find a way to adapt and evolve?
It's a question that leaves me pondering the endless possibilities.
It's hard to say for sure, but I believe the human element will always be crucial in espionage.
Because at the end of the day, it's about understanding people.
Their motivations, their vulnerabilities.
And that's something technology can't fully replicate.
It's the interplay of technology and human psychology that will define the future of Spycraft.
And that's where the legacy of the CIA's Office of Technical Service really shines.
Their story is a testament to the power of innovation, adaptability, and the enduring value of human ingenuity.
Even in the face of constantly evolving challenges. If you want to explore this incredible world of Spycraft further, I highly recommend checking out Spycraft by Robert Wallace.
It's a captivating read.
It gives you a glimpse behind the curtain of secrecy, revealing the dedication, the creativity, and the unheralded contributions of those who operate in the shadows.
It really challenges our perceptions of what's possible and reminds us there's always more to the story than meets the eye, especially in the world of espionage.
You can find Spycraft available for purchase at link. And don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more captivating explorations into the world of knowledge. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to spark your curiosity.
Until then, keep those minds engaged and never stop exploring.
See you next time.